Audible versus Spotify. This should be fun. I have a bone to pick with these two. If you Google just about any version of the keyword best audiobook app, the absolute first thing you see will be the name of Amazon's own Audible across the board. There is almost no debate regarding its omnipresence in the industry. Yet when it comes to music, with over 600 million users, Spotify is still the top music listening app, and as many know, in September 2022, they added audiobooks to their platform. Given this, how have they managed to compete with Audible? How do Spotify audiobooks work? How does Audible work? What are the differences? Are there any similarities? Probably not, but we'll figure it out. What are the compatibilities, and why would someone pick one over the other? Let's talk about it, but before we do, I want to be fully transparent about something important to the video since I, made it. Between these two apps, I am 10,000% for Audible, but that does not mean I think it's for everybody. People use Spotify for audiobooks and they do it for a reason. So I was really dedicated here to finding out why it would make more sense for someone to pick Spotify than Audible. And I included a rant at the end just because. I also may be an Amazon affiliate and YouTube partner, but neither platform is paying me to say any of this, literally any of it. Okay, so let's get to it. But before we do, I'm just kidding. I know I get sidetracked on this channel, but not quite that much. Let's start with how Spotify Audiobooks works. Spotify Audiobooks piggybacks on Spotify, where if you get a Spotify premium plan, which is $11.99, you will get 15 hours a month of audiobook listening time. If you're weird like me and you don't listen to music, except Kendrick Lamar, I know most of the words to most of his songs, and really only him. If you're like me and you generally don't listen to music, you can get it with just audiobooks and no music for $9.99, and you're only getting the 15 hours a month, but you can still listen to the music with ads like anyone else who's using Spotify for free. Save yourself $2 a month and get yourself something pretty at the Dollar Tree. Don't spend it all in one place. I mean, if it's $2, you kind of have to. If you're new to audiobooks and you read a lot, you probably read at a speed that if someone speaks that fast, let's put it that way, they're probably speaking faster than the average person. It's no secret that Spotify, Audible, and many other audiobook apps allow you to listen at more than 1x speed. Both of them, for example, allow you to listen at up to 3.5 times the speed. Why does this matter? It all goes back to those 15 hours. If this is the case, it is worth noting, I know where some of you might have thought this is going, that Spotify counts listening time based on normal speed, no matter how fast you listen. This means that if you listen to a 5-hour-long audiobook at 2x speed, it'll take away 5 hours of your listening time for the month. 5 hours, not half of 5 hours. Not to mention, any unused hours do expire at the end of the month. No need to fear. If you run out, you can get another 15 hours for $9.99. This is called top-up listening hours. If this does not work for you, you can buy their audiobooks from the Spotify web player. Here's the breakdown on how Audible works. I have an amazing video with lots more info on this, and I will drop a link to it in the description, but here's the general idea. Audible has two plans, Plus and Premium Plus. The second is the most popular by far. I would say probably at least 85% of Audible users have it. With Audible Plus, you get all you can listen access to Audible's Plus catalog, which has 70,000 audiobooks, meditation programs, and podcasts. 70,000 may sound like a lot, but it is nothing compared to the rest of their library, and I will be completely transparent about this like I am with everything else in this video. It is really not their most popular titles and the ones that, everyone's looking for. This Audible Plus membership, the base membership, it is $7.95 a month. Audible is not like Spotify or other apps in that they just take book ownership almost too seriously. And I mean that in a good way. Why does this matter? I'll tell you why this matters. Enter Audible Premium Plus. With Audible Premium Plus, you get everything from the other plan and 1 credit per month that you can use to buy any audiobook on the platform, doesn't matter how long it is. May have mentioned that if it's an Audible versus Spotify video. And you also get to keep that book forever, no matter what happens, even if you cancel your membership. What's that? 1 credit isn't enough? When you run out of credits, you can always buy more at a discounted rate if you are still a member. In the meantime, they have multiple ways of paying much, much less for books. Everything from all books being 30% or more off to 2-for-1 deals to 80% off and holiday flash sales throughout the year. And if you don't use the Audible Plus catalog, I don't and never really did. Many people still consider it a good deal because according to Scribe Media, most hardcover books are about $20 to $25 a piece, and I have 400 titles in my library. I will tell you myself, the average Audible book is between 5 and 10 hours long. That being said, according to Published Drive, an audiobook, that length is between $15 and $25. I have their top tier membership. I have not paid more than $10 for a single audiobook in years. Differences. Let's talk about the differences. Catalog. According to their websites, Spotify has over 375,000 titles and Audible has over 400,000. Price. Spotify starts at $9.99 a month and Audible starts at $7.95 a month. But if you've been paying attention so far, you can tell that these two prices come with very, very different offerings that suit different consumer needs, and I will talk about those later in the summary because although it makes Audible seem like it's less, you can get just as much, if not more, with Audible paying $14.95 a month than you can with Spotify paying a total of $19.98 a month. $19.98 a month, by the way, is it's $9.99 for just the audiobook plan, plus another $9.99 for the top-up listening hours. Basically, 30 hours of listening time every month. Call it an hour a day. When you consider buying books, these prices are not like comparing apples to apples. You're not even comparing apples to another fruit. It's more like comparing apples with protein bars or Cheeto Puffs. This is our cat. His full name is Cheeto Puff Belman. We chose his middle name. Similarities. They both come with a 1-month free trial. I don't talk about this a lot in these videos because the last time I checked, most of my viewers are from America, but their catalog and access may also vary between countries, and you can always explore titles or authors from the same genre to find something similar. On to app compatibility. Spotify is compatible with iOS, Android, Mac, and Windows devices. Audible is compatible with iOS, Android, Mac, Windows, Alexa, and Fire devices, which is pretty easy to stretch when you're owned by Amazon. Summary. Who is each app really for? Let's dive into this like everything else in the world in this video. I think it really depends on how much of a dedicated audiobook listener you are. And by the way, as someone who was a very dedicated audiobook listener before going on an uncannily long and who knows, perhaps maybe even kind of unhealthy Audible video making spree, I have no judgment for someone who's not committed to it. Believe me, after all, to get into the habit of getting into the car and immediately turning on an audiobook instead of whatever song popped into my head at the moment is a habit that took me 1.5 years just to form. I take a lot of pride in that, you can tell. Spotify. Based on all this information, I would say that Spotify audiobooks is great for someone who isn't really into audiobooks but would be open to giving an audiobook a shot. If you're using Spotify regularly and not for audiobooks, I'm sure it's for music. It's very risk-free, really, and there's really no commitment or anything like that. You don't have to pay any extra to listen to a certain amount of hours worth of audiobooks for each month. So for anyone who already pays for ad-free music streaming monthly on Spotify and doesn't spend more than 15 hours listening to audiobooks a month, I honestly can't even see a reason to give Audible a try. I really can't. Also, like the other 837 times I mentioned throughout this video, if you're already signed up for the premium plan on Spotify, you don't even need to sign up for anything. It's already there. On to Audible. The one thing that Audible has against the whole no commitment thing is that they have a 30-day free trial. It includes 1 credit that you can use on any audiobook that you get to keep forever, even if you cancel the membership before they bill you at the end of the 30-day trial. Not to mention, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you actually get 2, but Audible pricing beyond the Plus catalog focuses on a per book basis. The one thing Audible has against the whole 15 hours per month is that if you listen at more than 1x speed on Spotify, that 15 hours will actually go down. Depending on how fast you listen, you may not even get 15 hours. Audible doesn't care about this at all. Audible has the Plus catalog, which you can listen to as much as you want to on a monthly basis. And you know what? It's only a fraction of Audible's full selection. So you will have to pay for the extra book if it's not in the catalog. But you know what? Once you pay for a book, you will never have to pay for that book again, ever, even if you cancel your membership. And you know what? You can pay less per credit using their other membership tiers. $14.95 a month is the very maximum at the writing of this video that you will ever need to pay for a book on this platform. The thing is, If you're paying for the actual book, especially if you ever plan to listen to it more than once, and I cannot tell you how many books I've listened to more than once, the more serious you are about how many audiobooks you listen to, Spotify is almost certainly not worth getting compared to Audible. You're looking at that $9.99. What if you run into a 30-hour long book? I forgot writing this at first that you can buy these books on Spotify, sure, but at what price? The Warren Buffett biography by Alice Schrader, which is amazing by the way, is almost $35. Why don't you just save yourself a $20 bill and get yourself 20 pretty things from Dollar Tree? I know some of you are thinking, are you serious, Sam? You have to buy the book? I'm not doing that. I'd rather just do something like Spotify where you could listen to anything you want for as long as you want all month long. The reason for this is that audiobooks have not been decentralized like TV shows, music, and movies. Why? Dude, I've spent hours looking online for the answer to this and I have not found a single one. Music, TV shows, and movies are all expensive and extremely, extremely time consuming to write, record, edit, mix, and master, but that's the cookie. And the cookie crumbles just like the cookies that crumble cookies crumbles. If you find it hard to believe me, let's zone back in on Spotify and think about something for a second that I cannot believe. Despite Audible's historically huge selection, even Spotify, who has a closer size selection to theirs than any other mainstream audiobook platform by like a landslide, is known for popularizing music streaming, and not this. Not this. It's arguably the best music listening platform out there. 600 million users. That's over 70 New York cities. In the third quarter of 2023, Statista said Spotify accounted for 31.7% of music streaming subscribers worldwide. Over twice as much as number 2, China's very own Tencent Music, which is just a few percent ahead of Apple, Amazon, etc. But Spotify is there, man. It's there. So if anyone knows a thing or two about music streaming in our day and age, it is them for sure. And yet, what do they do when they finally decide they're going to start streaming audiobooks on top? They're going to give you a capped amount of hours. That means a capped amount of audiobooks. Why would they do that? That doesn't make any sense at all. There's no capped amount of music. Spotify, it doesn't make any sense. I can't help thinking this is Spotify's fault, especially when it comes to buying the audiobook. They have no special deals or anything. The fact of the matter is that the Spotify of audiobooks doesn't exist. It doesn't. Not even Spotify can do that. If they could, don't you think they would by now? And who knows, they might in the future, but Audible really is, at least in America, the closest thing to it for now. When you consider all the deals they have on top of the Plus catalog, sure, there might be another one out there with the whole listen all you want model, but at the end of the day, none of them will have close to the selection Audible does, and if they do, they are not, again, available in America. Rip my hair out, right? That is Audible versus Spotify. What is the best audiobook app? Honestly, it's ultimately up to the consumer. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. If you did, please make sure to smash that like button. This is the most in-depth, out there, all over the place video I've done on one of these audiobook app comparisons. But if you enjoyed it, please, again, subscribe if you haven't already so you can see more of the stuff we're putting out on this channel. And if you want to turn it up just a notch and turn on that notification bell to get a notification whenever I drop new videos, that would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You can find me everywhere, and I'll see you then.